Hi, my name is Michelle Van Dyne, and this video is for my A&P class, Bio 250. Today we're going to go over a skin diagram and compact bone, and then we're going to name a few muscles and bones on this guy right here. And I am like literally waiting to the very last day to make this video. I've been just insanely sick this past week. It felt like I swallowed glass, so I couldn't talk, but now I feel like I can actually make this video. So let me go ahead and flip this camera around so you can. I am not an artist by any means, so bear with me. This is the skin diagram that I drew up, and then I know this, I don't even know what you would think this was, but this is supposed to be compact bone. And so we'll go ahead and go over those. So starting with the skin diagram. Okay, so our skin is also called the cutaneous membrane, is made up of three, but really two layers. The epidermis, which would be up top, the dermis here, and then the hypodermis would be like way down here, all this area. So starting with the outermost layer, the dermis. The dermis consists 4 to 5 layers, depending on what part of the body you're talking about. So if you have like in the thicker skin areas, you'd have 5 layers of skin. So like the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet. And then the rest of your body, you would have about 4 layers. So at the very deepest part, we have the stratum basal, which is a layer of cells attached to the basement membrane. And the cells in this layer are the keratinocytes, and the melanocytes. And they also have tactile cells. The keratinocytes are the most common, and they produce a protein that kind of protect and like strengthen and that make our skin almost waterproof in a sense. And the melanocytes, they produce like a pigment called melanin, and which is really cool. It protects us from UV light. And then also in that we have tactile cells, and those are just basically touch receptors. And then the next layer is the stratum spinosum. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. And we're still talking about the epidermis, by the way. So this layer, it also contains keratinocytes, and they're made up of like the bottom layer of that and the dendrite cells, or dendritic cells. And dendritic cells just basically help to fight infection. Okay, then the layer above that would be the stratum granulosum, which contains maybe 3 to 5 layers of keratinocytes. And then on top of that, which we're still again up here, we have the stratum lucidum or lucidum. I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm so sorry. And that's found on like the thicker part of your skin, which contains the just more closely packed in keratinocytes. And finally, on top of that, we have the dead skin. Or dead skin cells. So then the next layer below the epidermis, we have the dermis, which is just basically made up of connective tissue, blood vessels. We got some blood vessels going here, hair follicle, this guy right here, sweat glands, that's supposed to be that. And then we have like sensory nerves, which will be this guy. And we have the, we have these things called I think that's how you pronounce it, erector pili muscles. And that would be just anywhere down in here. And also, again, with the dermis, we have 2 layers. So we're still in this middle section here. We have the papillary layer and reticular layer. The papillary layer, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, please forgive me, is composed of loose connective tissue, and then just the reticular layer is composed of more dense connective tissue. Okay, then finally we just have like the hypodermis area, which is way down here. And we just have more blood and lymph vessels here, nerve fiber here, sweat glands, of course, vein, artery, and that's about it for my skin diagram. And then moving on to this beast right here. I am so sorry again. This one. So here we have our compact bone diagram. And compact bone can basically be found just deep within the periosteum of a bone, and with the compact bone within that itself we have like spongy bone. So spongy bone will be in the center of it, and then the outside of that would be the compact bone. And it's also important to note that compact bone forms like the majority of the diaphysis. From here we have the osteon of the compact bone, and it's supposed to, I know it doesn't probably look like this, but it's supposed to be rings around these more dark spots here. And then up here we have some blood vessels. The canaliculi, oh my goodness, I am so sorry, would be up here. In some of these dark spots, we have like gaps containing osteocytes. And then we have the Haversian canal and the Volkmann's canal. And what's interesting about these two canals is that the Haversian canal, you can tell the difference between the two is that one runs parallel to the osteon, and the Volkmann's canal is more perpendicular. So you can see like the difference down here. So parallel, and perpendicular. These are the two types of osteotic canals. And then up here we just have little dark spots on here, and these just represent the osteocytes, which are surrounded by the matrix. And then those are also surrounded by the canaliculi, which are those two canals that are connected to the osteocytes, that connect the osteocytes to the next one. And as I mentioned earlier, we have the spongy bone here, which is also called the trabeculae, and that would be in the center. And then finally, we have these dark spots, which are supposed to have little circles within here. These would be called the concentric lamellae. And that is pretty much it for my compact bone diagram. Okay, so finally, we brought out this guy, and we're gonna name a few bones and muscles that were required for this week. So we're going to start with the cervical vertebrae. So let me turn this guy around. Be back here, and we'll see it right up against the base of the skull going down. And that includes 7 vertebrae. And then next, let me flip them around. Oops. We have the diaphragm, which is kind of located underneath the ribs here. And then we have external abdominal oblique muscles, which would be on the sides there. Next we have the frontal bone, which is on top. I gotta get on my tiptoes here. This guy here. Then hyoid bone, hyoid bone, which would be like here, and that's located just above the thyroid. And then we'll have the lumbar vertebrae, which is, Now I'm gonna start losing my voice. It's gonna be down here, and this contains 5 vertebrae. Then we have the mandible, which is this guy right here, the jaw. Oops, it doesn't want to open. Okay, right here, the mandible. And then the maxilla is here, and the nasal bone right there. Sorry, I'm going off of a checklist. The occipital bone, which is going to be behind this guy's skull, like here. And then we have the parietal bone. It'd be on the side of the skull, there. And then the rectus abdominis muscle will be, be right in here. And then sacrum and coccyx, we'll turn them around again. That'll be down here. And the sphenoid bone, which should be up here. And oh boy, the sternocleidomastoid mastoid muscle. I'm so sorry if I botched that. This is connected to basically the head and the collarbone, so it'd be like here and here. Oops, sorry, the camera, here. And we have the sternum, which is in the middle of the chest, right here, and the temporal bone, and that would be right here, and thoracic vertebrae, which would be in the middle now, and that has 12 vertebrae. That would just be like in the middle here. Okay, and then the trapezius muscle. This thing is a really big muscle, and it'll kind of start from the middle of the back, maybe say here, and it'll go up into like a triangle-like form, like that. And then the last one is the zygomatic bone, which we're gonna turn him around one last time, where his cheek is. So right about there. All right, so that